I want to say it with my chest. Them kids and everything they stand on. Wop, 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 wop. Yo, fuck them up. I'm tired. What's up, everybody? How you doing? My name is Hero. This is Coding with Strangers, and I want to complain about some shit. I'm tired of these punk-ass kids coming into my world and ruining the internet. Do you know how hard and how long I've waited for this opportunity where I have the power that I have today? Once upon a time, I had to hide my porn like an animal in multiple folders, like 2007 homework assignment past due. Was hidden within another folder called pre-calculus, 7 assignments, which was hidden in a deeper folder called incorrect answers, work on later. That was even hidden further in assignment 3. That was hidden even further in page 4. And it had a link of all my favorite bookmarks from the classic Booty Talk 34 after they were put out of syndication and taken off the internet. I had to create download files, and that's when I learned about hidden folders on the desktop. You see, I struggled to get to where I am today, and it's made me a better man. But I also had good parents, which made me conniving, smart, and alert. I learned how to trick adults at a young age, and that's why I prospered. But from that time on, moving forward, that's where my resentment is brewed. Because those same adults today can't turn a PDF into a Word doc and vice versa. In my office full of doctors who save lives, not one of them are capable of setting up a Teams device. So I sit here today while condemning these kids for being so dumb for getting caught constantly. I do understand and recognize they're not the problem. It's the boomers. Yeah, it's you. Mom, Dad, you're the problem.
Beta!
And I'm going to keep it 100. Your fears are fucking up my day-to-day activities on the internet. We have a current situation where there are more people worried about kids watching porn on the internet than having guns in schools. We have a situation where I have to bleep the word porn because it's considered more derogatory than universal health care should be for everybody. Let's just keep that in retro. You feel me? Like in the mindsets. That's what we're doing today. So we have multiple arguments today to talk about it. I've had to scour the internet to find countless articles about this, but I want to look at this from a critical point because we're going to be talking a lot about something I don't traditionally have experience with. I don't have any kids, and if I do, you punk ass mother lovers haven't found me yet, which means you're a loser, and that can't be in my bloodline. You got 18 years to find me. Good luck. Okay? Daddy loves you. Aww. But because of a bunch of punk ass kids and a bunch of bleeding hearts who don't really care about decency, as they are the same group of people with the red ties about to nominate a convicted felon. He's been found liable as, and once again I gotta bleep this word, a sexual assault. He's grabbing him by the special place. So let's talk about how the internet is being ruined because they want to save a group of kids, but they refuse to stop using fossil fuels that are just heating up the earth so fast that it's literally boiling eggs inside of women. And the irony isn't lost on me that it's a bunch of Democratic people I'm going to be talking about here. It's not lost on me. California's governor is trying to crack down on smartphone uses in school. The part here that I found to be quite interesting was Gavin Newsom also signed a law in 2022 pushing social media companies to increase protections for underage users, including limiting how much data from young people they can collect and sell. Last year, he wrote a letter urging tech companies to drop lawsuits, changing that litigation. It's time for tech industries to stop standing in the way of important protections of our kids and teens and start working with us to keep our kids safe, he wrote. Now, he makes a great point. Tech companies have made it their mission to make people the product. And the sooner they can indoctrinate your kid into believing the hype, the better off it is. It's not by coincidence that all the kids in the schools love Jordans, whatever clothing they wear. But that's not something that is new. Even before cell phones were involved, hey, guess what? If you had the windbreaker jacket in high school, I mean, you were a beast. I mean, who could tell you otherwise? You feel me? Clap that shit. With your favorite football team or your dad's favorite football team? Unstoppable. But the fact that he wants to crack down on having the phones in the school in the first place is mind-boggling. Because let's go down a list of things that emergency texts were sent to all phones just last year in 2023 in California. A school shooting, a school lockdown, fires, earthquakes, and my personal favorite, Amber Alerts. You know, the thing that goes out when a kid goes missing? And you want to know how they found that kid and how they find most of those kids? GPS tracking on their cell phones. Cell phones are not the problem. It's the social angst surrounded around it. And it's because we don't train our kids how to be literate on the internet. And it's probably because it's not a course that's required. And I guarantee you, literacy on the internet would be significantly more useful than any bullshit workshop class that you're forcing them to take. Asking them to remove cell phones from schools is literally telling parents they don't have access to their kids. And for what it's worth, as a parent, giving away that peace of mind goes a long way. Now, can you create a situation where you probably have to put all the phones in one place in the room while school is going on? While class is going on? Sure. But it would be so much easier instead of trying to force a bunch of preteens with force where we know we were all teenagers, it's never going to work. Rather than explaining the positive influx that it would have on their academics, social standing, and overall mental health. Because it wasn't long for me to realize that deleting Facebook and deleting Instagram and shit like that off of my phone was probably the best decision I ever made. Moreover, when I gained the wherewithal to be able to say, I can stop scrolling, helps me out a lot. But he's not the only Democrat we can rag on, right? We got this gem. A New York governor bans addictive feeds for teens. Once again, trying to usurp the algorithm, which begs the question, do you understand how this algorithm works? Do you think like there's a way that you can make the algorithm for just teens without affecting everyone else? Because let's say you're someone who relies on the algorithm in order to find my audience. If you're watching this right now, it's thank God that the algorithm smiled on me. And while you're, watching this, why don't you like, share, and subscribe? Just keeping it real. You're here already. Might as well just, hit the button. Share this. Patreon's in the description. Just saying. But this governor said on the bill to stop the addictive feed exploitation, and these acronyms aren't cute, calling it safe. We get it. You're annoying. Shut the hell up. Act will require parental consent for social media companies to use addictive feeds powered by recommendation algorithms on kids and teens under the age of 18. The other New York Child Data Protection Act would limit the data collection on minors without consent and restrict the sale of such information, but does not require age verification. That law will take effect in a year. So without the ability to make age verification, this thing is toothless. But this is the person writing the bill. What's her name? Kathy Hochul? She sounds annoying. And it's because earlier this month, she had to make an apology statement. In a statement later Monday, Hochul said, I misspoke and I regret it. Of course, black children in the Bronx know what computers are. This is a lady who wants to write laws and has written bills, but thinks a bunch of black kids in the Bronx probably don't know how to use computers. When I say the kids are in danger, they're not in danger because of what's happening on the internet. They're in danger because of the boomers running the world. They're the problem. They're always going to be the problem. But how important is the child privacy situation? It's pretty significant. But is it significant enough for anyone to actually care? A bunch of courts found out. This article came out June 18th, right? It's June 20th. 2 days later, they've already rescinded this lawsuit because it was found frivolous. You can't invoke privacy on a situation where the privacy that is being collected, there are no laws against collecting said data. So them trying to ban TikTok is one thing, but best believe the same people that are saying ban TikTok are the same people who use TikTok, right? Donald Trump was the first president to want to ban TikTok. He came off that bandwagon when he lost the election, and then when he was convicted of 43, was it 43 or 34? I'd be forgetting, but it's a lot. When he was convicted and found guilty as a felon, he made his first TikTok post. Want to know why? Because he might be losing some of his older representation, and he might need to find a new crowd. It's not by coincidence that he had an interview with Jake Paul, of all people, right? Same thing with Joe Sleepy Biden. Wants to push the deal and says he'll sign it if they put it on his desk. He literally has an account with multiple followers. These old people don't even understand what TikTok is. But the rate that they're willing to decline and take it away from people, because there are a bunch of people who are making money on this. And really, the thing that they hate about this is that we can talk shit about them and they don't really know how to find us. The amount of people that learned about the war in Ukraine and what's going on in Gaza and the Palestinians, in large part comes from their ability to gain access to TikTok, because things like Gaza, Ukraine get censored on more American apps. You don't believe me? Grab a VPN and take your app off site. Put yourself over there in the Netherlands and search some of the same shit you used to search and find out. But maybe I'm being a little harsh. I'm selfish. The real reason I'm upset is that when I get this new job and I get to figure out where I want to live, there might be certain states I legitimately won't move to because of how petty they are. Pornhub to leave 5 more states over age verification laws. Pornhub will cease to operate in 5 more states this summer due to new legislation that requires age verification on adult entertainment websites. The move is response to a wave of recently passed laws that require porn websites and other platforms to explicit adult-only content to collect proof of their usage. In all of these states, that means people would need to upload a copy of their driver's license or other government ID or register with the third-party age verification service in order to use the site, like Pornhub. A blog post on Pornhub said that the latest location shutdowns are Idaho, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, and Nebraska. These sites said that it would end operation in these states July 2024. The website closed in Texas last week and has also blocked access to its sites in Arkansas, Mississippi, Montana, North Carolina, Utah, Virginia in response to their state's legislation. Lawmakers from these states who support age verification laws said that the rules would keep children from viewing explicit content. For example, the Kentucky bill framed pornography as a public health crisis with a courting influence on children. Kentucky said that. Kentucky is definitely ranked dead last when it comes, no, actually I know it's Louisiana. So Kentucky has to be either 47 through 50 for one of the worst outcomes in women's health and children's health in all of America. Kentucky, a state that is literally ran by Mitch McConnell, the racist turtle-looking dude that freezes and has probably gone into hiding because he's posed to be out of politics, but he refuses to go. That's who we're taking advice on. So besides the fact that all of these states were dog water, the problem here isn't that porn is a public health crisis is one of the weirdest statements I've ever heard. Because in a state where children don't get free health care, in all or most red states where children don't get free reduced lunches, So that means they don't get 3 square meals in a school, in a place where they have poor or mid to poor education. Their focus is on what they do with their free time. Now, do I think children under the age of 13 should have access to unmitigated porn? No, of course not. That's dumb. But if you ask me, Hero, when do you think kids start doing things or looking out for sexual nature? As early as 11. Damn near 10. Because that's when I started. That's when I fucking started. All it took was one After Dark BET video for me to have a lot more questions during the daytime. I started seeing things differently. I didn't know things could move like that. You feel me? But moreover, the problem here is, instead of talking about it, because the problem is conservative people are afraid to talk about it because they're afraid that it'll influence them down a path that they don't approve of. They want to control their kids. And it's understandable to want to control your kids. But to control them with brute force is only going to help push them away from you. It will not end the way you think it will. You will end up in a retirement home by yourself and wonder why no one comes to visit you. You feel me? You're going to wonder why no one comes to visit you. You're going to be like, you're going to be telling stories about how much your kids love you, but no one ever comes to visit you. You get a call once a week. And it's okay, right? It's okay. But to call this a health crisis is a farce on so many levels. In the state of Ohio, you're 15% more likely to die of heart disease if you live in Ohio. Because there's never just been a recorded issue of someone biting the bullet because of porno. Now, there have been stories of people who have died from autoasphyxiation or some type of contraption that they bought. But guess what? Those were all adults who tried to do it on their own. Nobody's ever just rubbed one out so hard that their heart stopped. Let me go with somebody taking my soul. You feel me? I'm always wondering what people think is the true dangers in life. And the true dangers in life are just the lack of knowledge and literacy online. Because I'm here to tell you, if you're a parent and you think you're going to be able to bully your kids out of growing up, you're only hurting them. Because hopefully they're smarter than you. Because all you need is a VPN in these states, and you're bypassing the situation, which is atrocious, but it's true. And kids know this. To call it a health crisis, nowhere, and I mean nowhere, has this ever been mentioned. For example, in 2016, it was written in a statement in CNN, and the CDC has said it does not have an established position on pornography as a public health issue. And the large reason why we don't have any way to tell what's going on and if pornography has any effect on our ability and our way of life is because the CDC isn't getting any funding to study it, because they know that, and the government in large part knows from other private studies, that it's not tied to anything. So it wouldn't help their argument for wanting to make all of these restrictive laws on the internet. There are far more dangerous things your kids could get into. But let's say you're a good parent and you're just trying to make sure your kid isn't doing too many crazy things. Because I'm not going to sit here and pretend that the internet isn't a dangerous place. The internet is a dangerous place. There's a lot of sus-ass people. There's a lot of people out here pursuing children. We're the third biggest port for sex trafficking in the country. In the world, sorry. But all of those things can be mitigated or at least curbed by you at least having a conversation with them. Here were their 3 apps that all of them were good for. There's one on Apple called the Apple Screen Time. There's another one called Our Pick, called Google Family Link. And then another one called Questio, which all work in the same way of letting you monitor and spy basically on your kids. And if you resort to any one of these apps, congratulations, you've created a dynamic where no matter what your kid says, you can't trust them. And that trust will continue to erode, and it'll continue to be something that is detriment to your growth with them and their own individual growth. They'll learn to not tell you the truth because you don't trust them. And if that's the type of relationship you want with your kids, hey, go for it. If keeping them off the internet is that important to you, go for it. But I think it would be a little bit more constructive for you to have a conversation with them about the do's and don'ts on the internet versus trying to keep them away from it, because teen pregnancy isn't going away. What's Booty Talk 34 is forever going to be on the internet. And the last thing you want to do is remove some of these legitimate places, say for example porn, that at least vets their content and makes sure that pedo shit isn't on their website. Make sure that communication that is done on their website is all done legitimately and has a way of reporting people in mass. But if you choose not to do that, if you choose to take these legitimate things off the world, don't be surprised when the underbelly of the internet starts to reach out and grab people to bring them down. Because there's a reason why people stop pirating and stealing stuff on the internet. Shit, I haven't. But a vast majority of people stopped stealing stuff on the internet because legitimate ways of getting it became available. You would think they would have learned their lesson when they were banning weed. How'd that work out for you? All it successfully did was help you imprison your own population. You're you're ridiculous. You failed. So what's the alternative here? You gonna start sending kids to jail because they're watching porn? That's the road we're going down. But I'm curious to know what y'all think. You can tell that these are boomers because they don't get none no more. Go find someone you love and give them some sex, please, because they're ruining everyone else's day. Like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate y'all. Talk to you later. Okay, we're done.